What's the most twisted family rule you've ever heard of? My dad made this rule when I was like 8 years old. No crying after your 8th birthday, ever. He was this ex-army guy who thought emotions made you weak. If you cried, you didn't get in trouble or anything. Nah, that would have been easier. Instead, you got sent to what he called the reflection room, which was just our freezing cold basement laundry room with no lights. He'd set a timer based on how long you cried. 1 minute of tears meant 10 minutes down there in the dark. I remember the first time it happened. Our dog Buddy got hit by a car when I was 9. I couldn't help it. The tears just came. My dad didn't even say anything. He just pointed to the basement door. I sat there for an hour, shivering and trying to cry silently so the timer wouldn't get longer. My older brother Max figured it out way faster than me. By the time he was 9, he just stopped crying completely. Like, completely. When he broke his arm falling off his bike, he just gritted his teeth and walked home. No tears, no sounds, nothing. Teachers thought he was so mature. Friends called him tough, but I could see it in his eyes. Something was just gone. The worst part wasn't even my dad, though. It was my mom. She never stopped him, never said a word. When I'd come upstairs from the basement with red eyes and chattering teeth, she'd just be stirring pasta sauce like nothing happened. If I tried to talk to her about it, she'd just say, "You know how your father is," and change the subject. I got good at it eventually. Too good. By high school, I could feel the tears building up and just shut them off, like flipping a switch. When my grandma died, I stood at her funeral completely dry-eyed. When my girlfriend broke up with me junior year, nothing. When I got rejected from my dream college, I just nodded and said, "Okay, cool." People started calling me chill, said I was so mature for my age. Teachers loved how I never got emotional about bad grades. But inside, I felt like something was broken, like there was this pressure building up in my chest that had nowhere to go. In college, I started dating this girl named Rachel. She was super emotional, cried at movies, got excited about little things. One night, she was telling me about her day and started tearing up because her professor had been mean to her. I just sat there watching her, feeling nothing. She asked what was wrong, and I tried to explain, but the words wouldn't come. My chest felt tight. My throat was burning, but nothing would come out. I told her I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. That's when she looked at me like I was crazy and asked what I meant. So I told her about the rule, about the basement, about the timer. She was horrified. She kept asking me how my mom let that happen, how any parent could do that. I didn't have answers. A few weeks later, Rachel convinced me to try therapy. My therapist called it emotional suppression trauma, said my brain had been rewired to associate crying with punishment and isolation. She said the rule wasn't just weird, it was straight up abuse. That was the first time anyone had called it that. It took months before I could cry again. And when I finally did, it was ugly. Years of trapped emotions just pouring out. Rachel held me through it even though I was a mess. She said it was the most human I'd ever looked. Last year, Max called me out of nowhere. He'd just gone through a divorce and lost his job. Said he finally broke down in his therapist's office and realized he'd never learned how to process anything. His ex-wife left him because she said living with him was like being married to a robot. We started meeting up every week after that. 2 grown men learning how to feel things for the first time.